It's the 7th round of the season. We've had 6 races so far and all of them have been Mercedes dominated. However, it looks to change here at the moment because at the end of FP3, Ferrari have a 1-2 ahead of qualifying. Let's take a look at how the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship shapes up. We move away from Monte Carlo across the pond to North America for round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix at Montreal at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The 7th stop on our calendar, Mercedes have dominated the 6 races so far, 4 for Hamilton and 2 for Bottas. 2 weeks time and we're at the French Grand Prix at Le Castellet, then it's Austria, halfway the season at the British Grand Prix, Germany, Hungary, the summer break, followed by then we go to Belgium, Italy, the flyaway, Singapore, Russia, Japan, then the Americas, Mexico, USA and Brazil, and wrapping up the season on December the 1st in Abu Dhabi for what hopefully will be a duel in the desert. In the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton leads the way, 137 points. 17 points back is Valtteri Bottas. With a second place in Monaco, Sebastian Vettel now moves up to 3rd ahead of Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc 5th with a massive points gap to Pierre Gasly. 7th for Sainz, and then if you look further down the order, no points for Russell or Kubica. Mercedes lead the Constructors' Championship from Scuderia Ferrari by well over 100 points. Victory in all 6 races, it's going Mercedes' way. Rocket Williams Racing still with no points on the board. The battle for 6, 7, 8 and 9 is strong. Hello everybody and welcome up to the commentary box for free practice number 3's review session. And yes, it's a bit more barer than what it usually is, but don't worry, we're going to have an excellent practice review highlights for you. And the final session ahead of qualifying for the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix saw Sebastian Vettel set the fastest time overall, a 1:10.843. It's actually more interesting to note as well that with my notes that I have up in the commentary box, it allows me to have information on everything Formula 1 related. And it's also interesting to note that last year the pole time was changed because Sebastian Vettel, here it is, in my own notes that I created as well, Sebastian Vettel's pole record from last year, 1:10.764, was the fastest time. So already we're getting close to what happened in qualifying last year with FP3. So prediction is that we're going to see a new lap record in qualifying. But a 1:10.843 by Sebastian Vettel. Charles Leclerc was 2nd, he was a 10th off. Lewis Hamilton 3rd after his brush into the barriers in FP2 yesterday sort of meant that today was his last chance to get any running in at all. And Valtteri Bottas went 4th fastest as well. And 5th fastest, well, that went to Max Verstappen as well. Some blistering pace from the Ferraris. 1-2 on the first laps out as well of the board, so that was great news for them. Behind Hamilton and Bottas, line astern, Mercedes 3 and 4 as well. Verstappen and Pierre Gasly 5th and 6th. Worrying though for Red Bull as well, that Verstappen was almost exactly a second away from Vettel's pace, 0.999 off the pace as well. Daniel Ricciardo was just 0.2 behind of Pierre Gasly for the Renault in P7. Similarly, the Renault powered of McLaren Lando Norris, who yesterday as well had a bad FP1 and 2, close quarters as well in P number 8. Sergio Perez gave the home team of Racing Point something to cheer about, that he went P9 overall. Kvyat was P10, rounding out for Toro Rosso as well. Lance Stroll hasn't got an entire grandstand dedicated to him this weekend, down at turn number 10. And if you remember our previous show, and I'll even hold a little bit, it's a piece of paper for you, turn 10 is just here, look at the circuit, so it's the top part at the hairpin. And famously, of course, when Nigel Mansell ran out of fuel and let the car go so far down that it cut off because he thought he'd already won the race. But Lance Stroll had a horrible session because on his first outlap out of the pits, a hydraulic failure meant that the hydraulic fluid got onto the exhaust and bang, up went the flames as well. and he was put out for the remainder of the session. So not great for him either in the Racing Point RP19, which is the car. With no time set by Stroll, he finished last behind the two Williamses of George Russell and Robert Kubica. The latter, of course, won the race back in 2008, and of course back in 2007 had that massive accident which put him out of the following weekend's racing as well. Guess what? Yes, gave the debut to Sebastian Vettel at the next race, which was the United States Grand Prix. So it's a Ferrari who have got the upper hand going into qualifying. They had a 1-2 yesterday with Charles Leclerc on top from Sebastian Vettel, but Mercedes had a 1-2 in free practice one, of course, with Hamilton ahead of Bottas. The top three in this session just gone have been the top three in the free practice session so far. Sebastian Vettel was fastest in FP3, he was first. Second in FP3 was Charles Leclerc, he was fastest in FP2 on Friday. And Lewis Hamilton, of course, was the fastest in FP1, and he went third fastest in FP3. So a lot to look forward to going into qualifying. But let's just take a look at how the times wrapped up in full from the third practice session for the Canadian Grand Prix. So it's Sebastian Vettel who tops the third practice session on a 1:10.843. Charles Leclerc second at 1:10.982. Lewis Hamilton third at 1:11.236. Valtteri Bottas is fourth at 1:11.531. Then it's Max Verstappen fifth at 1:11.842. Then sixth place goes to Pierre Gasly at 1:11.914. Daniel Ricciardo seventh at 1:12.045. Lando Norris eighth at 1:12.154. And Sergio Perez in 9th place at 1:12.175. Danny Kvyat rounds out the top 10 at 1:12.298. Nico Hülkenberg 11th at 1:12.305. Kevin Magnussen 12th at 1:12.327. Carlos Sainz 13th at 1:12.399. Followed then by Alexander Albon 14th at 1:12.423. Then we get Antonio Giovinazzi at 1:12.627. Kimi Raikkonen 16th at 1:12.708. Romain Grosjean 17th at 1:13.197. Then it's George Russell 18th at 1:13.966. Robert Kubica 19th at 1:14.426. And Lance Stroll not sending any time due to hydraulic failure and putting out of the running. So a lot of action to look forward to then ahead of qualifying. My prediction is that it's either going to be Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel for pole position, mainly because they're the only two drivers on the grid who have currently got pole positions. Hamilton has taken a record 6, meanwhile Sebastian Vettel has only got 4 pole positions to his name at this circuit. Could Charles Leclerc spring a surprise? We don't know. Also factor in Valtteri Bottas. He's had 3 poles this year and in a row as well. So anything can happen. But my 2 prediction is either Hamilton or Vettel. They do go well around here as well. Also, let's just see. Wild guess the top 6 is going to be the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Ferraris and the 2 Red Bulls. Let's hope I'm proved wrong about that. But we'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Sunday race preview. A total of 3 hours before the race gets started. So a nice early reminder for you. That will also be repeated at 6:30, half an hour before the start of the race as well. So 2 premieres tomorrow. So you get up to date with what's going to happen. But we'll have a full gang back for the Grand Review podcast because Megan rejoins us this weekend after a little bout of illness. She'll be back tomorrow in commentary, as well as our usual pit lane reporter, my dad Ian Birch, will be joining us as well. So it's all going to be a great weekend to watch. I love the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a fast track, it's tricky, but it is exciting to watch. We all remember 2011. Well, are we going to have a similar situation, not in terms of the rain, but in terms of a great race? Because strategy is going to be key. And qualifying, like in Monaco, is very, very important. We'll see you tomorrow for the Sunday race preview. 4 o'clock, don't forget, for our first live, and then a repeat as well at 6:30. From us all here in Canada and in the United Kingdom in our studio, it's bye for now.